For our last panelist, but definitely not least, Erin Reinders is here with the Alaska Municipal League. She's worked for 2 decades in local government before joining AML in June of this year to serve as the Director of Infrastructure Development. She assists AML's efforts with developing a strategic approach to responding to and maximizing federal infrastructure investments, coordinating collaboration with state agencies, and sustaining a comprehensive outreach, education, and technical assistance program. Welcome. Thanks.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Erin Reinders with the Alaska Municipal League, and thank you so much for including me here with you all today. So the Alaska Municipal League, for those of you that don't know, is a nonprofit that represents local governments throughout the state. We have about 165 members, so we stay busy and hopefully really help out the state and the communities as we do our work. I do not have grant programs to share with you today. Our role is really to be supporting our members and the communities and making sure that we're bringing in as much as we can for the state of Alaska. All right, we'll move on. So I'll be focusing today on 3 main topics: opportunities, partnerships, and some resources to share with you. So, hold on. As we were just talking about, there is a lot going on with the bill. So IJA, bill, you name it, it's all the same thing. 6 months ago when I was starting off in this role, I had to look it up just to check my bearings. So they are the same thing. The funding is available over the next 5 years. So this urgency, we can kind of spread it apart over 5 years. One way of looking at it is then implementing it. We can kind of take 10 years to actually work on implementing. Federal agencies right now are busy ramping up technical assistance. Capacity is a reoccurring concern that we are hearing, and I think agencies are hearing that as well and trying to help out. Our goal for Alaska is really to bring in $3 billion per year. And I am happy to say that right before I came up, I got an email that was sent out by Senator Murkowski's office that confirms that we are reaching that goal. So we are about to, we are near $3 billion on this anniversary of the bill signing. So that is exciting news. And as we've already talked about, this bill is really addressing, and I left off resilience, which probably should be at the top, but it's addressing resilience issues for our nation, as well as broadband, transportation, water and sewer, power and electric, and again, that resiliency. Some reoccurring themes. So there's many programs that allow for group applications. We've heard, I've only been here for a few hours, and I've heard partnerships, and you guys are living partnerships right now every day, but partnerships are certainly encouraged as we move forward with these bill opportunities. Also encouraged are bundled projects. So I know culverts is something that we've been working on, and bridges we've been working on applications for, and it seems to be a good thing and welcomed when you bundle those projects into one application. So there are some opportunities for partnerships there. You can think geographically or thematically in those bundles. Many programs actually offer more than 80% federal share in this bill, with some having rural set-asides, which is a significant benefit to the state of Alaska. There's also an emphasis on disadvantaged and rural communities, which also puts us at a competitive advantage nationwide. There are some reoccurring themes to think about, as in a lot of these opportunities, focusing on safety, state of repair, economic impact, the nature of your local economy, as well as some new criteria, which is particularly exciting, with equity, environmental justice, sustainability, the climate impact, and using new technologies to solve identified problems. So a couple of opportunities that I thought might apply or be of some interest to this group. if we think creatively enough. Bridge investment program. These are open to state agencies, MPOs, transportation districts, local governments, and tribes, as well as federal agencies. This just closed in September of '22. But is looking forward to reopening again in June through September of next year. So that's a big window, we don't know. But they offer 3 different programs. One is for really large construction projects, large bridge projects, also planning, and then some kind of smaller bridge projects. And this one was just reviewed with you all by the previous speaker, but something I thought was particularly of interest to you. And this has to do with culverts. You know what, I should say, for this bridge investment program, we have worked with DOT, AML has worked with DOT, and we applied for one planning grant for for Kodiak, in partnership with the state and the borough there. And we have applied for 2 different bundled projects, Gersel Bridge up in, yes, by Delta, yep, and Ward Creek Bridge in Ketchikan. We did just receive news that the planning grant was accepted for Kodiak, so that is exciting. Okay, so now culverts. AML is currently working with DOT on this project. DOT is also partnering with Alaska Fish and Game to develop the list of culverts to put in a bundled approach into this application process. This is open to state, local governments, and tribes. Again, as we've previously discussed, there's a real benefit to partnering with your friends and neighbors on this one. So tribal entities have 0% cost share, 0% match for this grant. And I was just in a meeting with Yakutat, with their tribe and their city of borough, and as well as federal agencies, kind of brainstorming how that community might best work together to take best advantage of these opportunities. So what they are going to be doing is having the tribe likely be that entity that applies for some culverts, so that the community benefits, so that the Forest Service benefits. So that's, I think, is a great example of how partnerships can really work and work well. So on the theme of partnerships, I wanted to highlight just a couple of examples of what Alaska Municipal League is involved with to really, ideally, bring in as much as we can to maximize the benefit that IJA or a bill brings into the state of Alaska. So there is an Alaska Infrastructure Coordinating Committee. This really had its big kickoff earlier this year in April. There was a significant symposium that Lisa Murkowski's office also participated in. And then we've had a follow-up one earlier, just a month or so ago in September, to follow up on that and kind of give additional updates. That was a whole week long. Really we do work together on educational outreach and also to encourage that collaboration. So some members are up there. You have got AML, AFN, the university, state, ANFC, different utility groups, as well as Rasmussen Foundation and 4Acre. One thing that I've been particularly busy with lately is a partnership that AML has with the state DOT. So we have a signed memorandum of understanding. So right now we are building a joint transportation hub website, and I'll speak to that more about that in the next few slides. But we also are working with them and supporting some educational opportunities, the National Highway Institute courses. We've got a Federal Aid 101 course that we're hosting here in early December. And we're also working with DOT and some grant application support. And I did mention this already. I gave away the punchline. So we're really excited about the Kodiak Russian and Sergeant Rivers bundled project, 2 bridges planning award. That was successful, and we've got some other ones that we're waiting on. We've also partnered together on the NOAA Fish Passage application for 3 Mile Creek, still waiting to hear on that. And then we're working right now on that culverts application. So some other resources, these are some groups that might be of interest for you to reach out. Some of you are in this very room, so thank you for your help and all that you're doing. One thing that might be of interest that I think was on our previous presenter's presentation is this Bill Rural Playbook. I found this particularly helpful, especially 6 months ago when I was new to the job and trying to figure out what I had said yes to. So it's really helpful, has lots of information and resources for you. That's applicable to where we are. Another resource that we have, which is created as a result of the Alaska Infrastructure Coordinating Committee, is a shared website for akfederalfunding.org. So this has a lot of information on it with bill information, match requirement. We're trying to track those match requirements. We recognize and we hear from a lot of communities, and I suspect this might be a challenge. I've heard match mentioned a few times. So what we're trying to do is track where those are concerns for members, and so folks can enter in those matches, and we'll hopefully be able to then more effectively communicate that concern to the state level and see if we can get any support. And then also on this website is a link to that transportation hub. And this is that transportation hub. So the transportation hub is what AML has worked really closely for the last several months on creating. It is just about live. I think it actually is live, but it has one of those mile-long links, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to create a more catchy link that I can easily ramble off. But so this, particularly excited about this one. So right here, it'll have, so this hub will have a link on there where you can click on and get information on all transportation-related programs that the state is offering. So you'll be able to see some scheduled deadlines as well as evaluation criteria and what's out there. What has been most recently available is their CTP and TAP programs. I have heard from DOT that they're looking to expand some of their offerings. I think there will be a state program that specializes in culverts. I believe there will also be a state program that specializes in bridges. So that might be something of interest to you all. Similar to that, there'll be a federal tab, and that is exactly the same thing, but it will have lots of federal opportunities. And we've been working on building this right now, so I think there's about 44 different transportation related, but I think you all might find some things of interest to you on that website. So, and that again will list out all the criteria, all of the notice of funding announcement information on there as well. So that we'll have there. Also, eventually there'll be a project map, so we can see better at a glimpse, be able to see the community needs that are out there and who all is actually applying for these funds. And then finally, there'll be a project intake form. And this is, I don't have the picture of it, but basically this project intake form allows for us to capture the project needs that are out there throughout the state, as well as provides us an opportunity to, we can evaluate the project, we can look at what potential funding matches might be out there as far as what other funding opportunities are there that might be a good fit for that project. And then there's a chance that then DOT might be able to provide some support in that application. AML would very much be interested in doing all that we can to support that as well. So who should fill these forms out? Certainly local governments and tribes, but also nonprofits, transportation agencies, and school districts, again, to help to capture that need and to really take a comprehensive approach to this bill funding. And again, this is kind of transportation related, but I think that there's still a space for this topic as well. So information that you might need before you click on it. And there is a PDF that when you click, you can get a PDF and get all the questions because it's a fillable form, and once you start, you can't back out. But basic contact information, project information, timeline, budget, and then especially where you're at in that environmental review process, that'll make a big difference in some of the grant opportunities that we might be eligible for. But that is an exciting thing, and we are definitely building that as we're flying. So, but I encourage you guys to all check that out. And that is all I have. Thank you so much for having me today.